It's live. Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Tuesday, March 24th meeting of Sumter County Council. I'm calling the meeting to order. Ms. McGee, will you please give us an invocation? Sure. Let us all stand.
Let us pray. Our dear kind Heavenly Father, we acknowledge you as the one in whom we live and move and have our being. We thank you for this day. We thank you for blessing us that all of us are here except for one. And we ask that you bless Councilman Bacon and help him to be able to return to his duties here. As we begin this meeting, we invite your presence and ask that you help us to have wisdom and understanding and definitely clarity of mind as we discuss these items that are before us. We ask your blessings upon everyone under the sound of my voice. We ask that you help us to not to fear and be weary in well-doing, because we will reap if we faint not. We ask that you help us to stand on your promise that you will never leave us nor forsake us, and that you're all powerful, you're all knowing, and you are all loving. You love us and you care. We ask your blessings upon those who have lost loved ones to the virus. And we ask that you continue to breathe your healing power on those who are currently struggling with it. And ask that you help us to be obedient to avoid this virus, that we will see it subside and go away. These are our blessings we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Brandon, are there any changes to the agenda?
No, sir.
Move for approval.
Second. Moved properly seconded that we approve the agenda for our regular meeting of Tuesday, March 25th. All in favor?
Aye.
We have a motion to approve the minutes from our meeting of Tuesday, March the 10th.
Motion approved. Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we approve our minutes from our regular meeting of Tuesday, March the 10th. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda, land use matters, rezoning request 2001, Ms. Ruby. Yes.
March 18th. March 18th.
Okay, I stand corrected. It says March 10th here.
March 18th.
Okay. The minutes are from March the 18th.
No, it's two
separate meetings.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. The emergency meeting that we had.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from March 18th as well.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded that we approve the minutes from our emergency meeting on Wednesday, March 18th. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now, Ms. Ruby.
Good evening, Helen Rubin for planning staff. This evening we have RZ 2001. This is a request at Black River Road and Edens Road. It actually accounts for 6 separate properties under separate ownership. The applicants are in this instance County Council as the authorized local government. The request is to rezone these properties from residential 15 back to agricultural conservation. These are the properties in question. They're at the intersection of Edens and Black River Road, north of Edens Road, and north or east and west of Black River Road. Much of the property you see today in this aerial photography is actually being used for agricultural purposes, and everything surrounding it is actually zoned agricultural conservation. In fact, this property was zoned agricultural conservation prior to it being rezoned in 2007, before the economy shifted and construction halted in residential development. Through the 2040 Comprehensive Land Use Plan process, these properties were brought up in discussion with County Council because this area is actually targeted to be included in the military protection planning area. There's limited infrastructure availability out here. There are some noise concerns from Shaw Air Force Base. And overall, the R15 zoning designation is actually not compatible with the 2040 comp plan designation of this area, which today is actually rural development. Over half of the property is actually currently under conservation easements, which also prohibits development at the density that R15 would allow. As you can see in the 2040 land use plan, this property is designated rural development. In the rural development planning area, we look at very low density residential development that does not require public infrastructure to construct. R15 lots are a minimum lot size of 15,000 square feet. In this area, we do not have sewer infrastructure to support 15,000 square foot lot development. So anything that would be developed out here at this time would have to be supported with septic tanks or some other form of package plan. We just don't have the public utilities to support that kind of infrastructure. Also, this area was targeted during the joint land use study, saying that it was in our best interest to rezone it to a designation of reduced density, mostly because it's subject to potential noise impacts from the F-35A should Shaw Air Force Base get that particular product. Overall, this particular area, its zoning, it's not compatible with everything that's going on around it, and it's also has some potential impacts to Shaw Air Force Base if it were to be developed. Planning Commission does recommend approval of this request. This rezoning is consistent with the 2040 comprehensive plan designation of both the agricultural conservation as well as military protection. In addition, it's recommended by the joint land use study. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions on this one?
Did you talk to landowners?
Every landowner that's impacted by this request was actually mailed a notice as if they were an applicant, both at the beginning stage prior to this application going to Planning Commission. They received copies of the staff report and were invited to Planning Commission meetings. They received first reading notice. They received second reading and public hearing notice. The representative for the largest landholder, Flow Fund Domestics, has been in contact with me repeatedly. They have no objection in general to most of the land being rezoned. They do have concerns with the tract on the western side of Black River Road being rezoned simply for future investment if they were to want to disinvest in that property. The R15 gives them more versatility. Their representative wasn't able to be here tonight, but he did convey that thought process to me. I also heard from Mr. Ben Brown. He owns an 8-acre tract, which is actually one of the larger tracts that's not owned by Flow Fund Domestic. He's completely supportive of rezoning this property to agricultural. And I did hear from an adjacent neighbor, Mr. Lee, who abuts one of the Flow Fund Domestic properties. He's entirely supportive of it being rezoned to agricultural. He has no interest in there being residential densities surrounding where he purposely moved that into the county to be away from density.
Any other questions?
And I may have missed it, but who initiated this request?
County Council.
Okay, so. Was there a certain reason?
24
Military protection.
Okay, I figured. Is that also in the APZ?
It is not in the APZ, but if you look at this map that I have on the screen, when we get the F-35A, there are going to be noise impacts to this particular property from the operations of that plane. The F-35 has a much larger noise footprint than the F-16s do.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Before calling for the second reading, we are scheduled to have a public hearing. I now declare the public hearing section open. I don't see anyone here. I will declare it open. Is there anyone wishing to speak for or against it? Seeing none, public hearing is now closed.
Before we take action, just want to ask her one more question. And I saw in the diagram, that picture, is that that same picture that we saw when we were looking at the larger aircraft and place out in that area that it would encompass?
This is the noise footprint from the F-35A, which is
Okay.
the aircraft that would replace the F-16.
I see. Okay, and that makes sense. Thank you.
Move for second reading.
Second. It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Second reading for RZ 2001 is approved.
And I had one additional, just a point of clarification. I noticed that in the announcement, public hearings were not to be held tonight. So is there going to be a provision for, just in case, just to be correct, is there going to be a provision for public hearing at third reading?
You know, the public hearing that you're talking about that we're not going to have is when we have it in the council
I
meeting.
see.
This one was still open. We just asked that no one show up unless they had something to say about this particular.
Okay.
So this what is the public hearing for this now. So RZ 2001 does pass. Under new business, the land proclamation proclaiming April as Fair Housing Month.
This is something council does each year, and it also supports the main grants for fair housing.
Move for approval. Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we approve the proclamation proclaiming April as Fair Housing Month in Sumter County. All in favor? All opposed? Emergency ordinance number 2921, Mr. Bryant.
Mr. Chair, members of the council, this is an emergency ordinance. It requires only one reading. It'll be good for 60 days. And it allows for the electronic meetings. If members of the county council participate in meetings from a remote location. First thing is to allow you to meet, if necessary, electronically within the next 60 days. I'd like to take any questions. You might have any questions about the terms or purpose.
I just don't quite understand what we're trying to do. Is this going to be like a conference call or?
Well, the way it would be set up would be there would be a telephone instrument in the meeting room so that those who are not present would be able to call in and participate electronically. It would be like a conference call. It would be more like not a conference call. Well, the speakerphone, the telephone would be set on speaker so that everybody in the room would be able to hear what the person calling in remotely had to say.
No video.
Well, no anticipation of having video for the person who's calling in remotely.
And this would be for voting, if we needed to vote.
Participating in the discussion and for voting.
Move for approval.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we approve emergency ordinance number 2921. 921. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Emergency ordinance 2921 is passed. First reading for ordinance 2922, Mr. Bryant.
But this is a regular ordinance. This is not an emergency ordinance. This is an ordinance that requires 3 readings. And it's going to have an impact on our local rules. And it will allow electronic meetings in the future if we have an emergency. And if certain members of the county council are not able to participate for any number of reasons. If there are any kind of emergencies that could happen, we could have flood, hurricane, tornadoes, earthquakes, any of those kinds of things that happen. And of course, they happen without notice. There may be a reason why the county council would want to meet and address any of those emergencies. But for reasons beyond control of the members cannot get to the meeting. Maybe someone's on vacation away, someone's sick. But it will allow the meeting to go forward if we have a bona fide emergency, as determined by you as council. If the members who are not able to attend have a bona fide reason for not attending. That's the purpose of this. This is a regular ordinance. It will require 3 readings.
One quick question. Let's say you did have the meeting and you had 3 show up, which is not 4. So if you, with the others on the phone, would that count as the quorum?
Yes, the way this is written, those who are calling in would have to go on It has to be, first of all, an acknowledgement that those who are calling in are present. Then the next order of business would be to determine that there is in fact a bona fide emergency. All participating, whether in person or remotely, would have to vote in the majority rule. Assuming there's a quorum, you have a majority rule as to whether there's an emergency. And then those not present would have to be identified by the chairman as to whether or not they have a bona fide reason for not attending. It's all kind of laid out for you. Of course, this is first reading. We'll have 2 more readings. If you have questions, concerns, you can amend it on second, third readings as we go.
Move for approval.
Second. It's been moved and properly seconded that we have first reading on ordinance 2922. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ordinance 2922 is passed. First reading, ordinance 2923.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, I think you may have seen the letter from Mr. Beach, who is the president of the Morris Pond Homeowners Association, which indicates that they no longer need the special tax district that was created by ordinance 18884. Consequently, they are asking that the special tax district be dissolved, which means we're going to rescind ordinance 18884. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Motion approved, first reading. Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we have first reading on ordinance 2923. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? First reading of ordinance 2923 is passed. Committee reports. The Fiscal Tax and Property Committee did meet today at 5:30. All members were present. We received some information from our economic development person, Mr. Jay Swayler. The information was for economic development information only. No action was taken. Do we have any reports from council members present on trainings, meetings, or other conferences?
Mr. Chair, I had some information that, and Mrs. Glenn might still have it. I attempted to forward it to her, and because we are meeting in person tonight, and it's no urgency to get it, but at some point, it's probably the column, Satan, which is regional council of government. We'd ask Mr. McKinney if he would give us a synopsis of the various meetings that whenever we have meetings, and there's really good information that we have to share that can be placed in our meetings just to share also. So I just wanted to make you all aware that Ms. Brandon might be able to include it with our information, and it might be something that you might want to pass on to your constituents. They offer a program where if there are senior members who are raising children, people over 55 years old who are raising their grandchildren, there are some benefits for them, like $1,500 a year, and they also offer like summer camps and things like that. So, and there are other things within that report as well. I think that would be available for everyone to see. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McGinn. Monthly reports, Mrs. Brandon.
Yes, sir. The first month report we have here is, of course, the cancellation of the meeting for April 14th. And I just wanted to call that to council's attention. And also what we have here is the executive summary from the Bragg Institute, which is going to be a charter school in Sumter. They were supposed to come to the meeting tonight, but we encouraged them if they did not have to. So the gentleman asked them to put the information in council's packet. So that's that. The Diamond program just sent in their budget request, and I've sent that over to Mr. Michelson and his other staff, and that is it.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. County Administrator's Report, Ms. Dennis.
As you all are aware, as of yesterday, we closed all of our offices to the general public as a means of just protecting our employees from the coronavirus. And effective as of Monday, March 30th, we're going to move to March last schedule. We've got all of the department heads. I have a couple of them need to talk to. These are the non-essential departments, whereas half of the staff will work Mondays and Fridays. The other half will work on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And the following week, they'll just reverse that schedule. So next week, we'll move to March last schedule.
Thank you, Ms. Dennis. As you all know, because of the advent of the virus, we have for tonight suspended public comment, so there is no public comment portion of the meeting. Unless there's anything else, we have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
So moving properly second that we adjourn. All in discussion. All in favor of the adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned.